Now, last weekend, this is about a new friend. Lauren Barkley from the charity Giving to Ukraine spoke to us on the road with her friend Nikki Turnbull. It was Giving to Ukraine's third trip to the Polish-Ukraine border. Met her online through another friend, Matt Millen, who's also involved in the Ukraine equestrian charity effort. Now, Lauren, importantly, is an up-and-coming freelance journalist. So we were so amazed at what she had to say that we invited her to produce a short video report of her own about what she and Nikki saw and did. And I'm delighted to say she accepted. And for those listening on radio, this following report does contain interviews that are not in English. Now, you can watch it in its entirety with subtitles later on YouTube. And I very much hope that you do. So, first of all, here's the video, and then I'll have a quick chat with Lauren afterwards.
Російські нас збивають.
Ага. Нас збивають кого? Українців.
Угу. Вони хочуть знищити Україну нашу.
А в Польщі що ми робимо?
Ми тут, щоб нас російські не били.
5-year-old Dima is just one of the young people I met whilst travelling with Giving to Ukraine to deliver aid to Poland. Dima currently relies on volunteers like this group after he lost not only his parents, but his home, friends and school to the war. Now living in a home set up for orphaned Ukrainian children across the border in Poland, donations of aid are essential to children like him.
Kyiv, Odessa, many city, the bomb, and we escape another people to the Poland. Right now it's 31 children here and 10 adults women, and maybe another 30 live here.
Like many volunteers supporting refugees in Poland, Peter relies entirely on donations of aid and food to continue the work he is doing. Giving to Ukraine are one of the groups helping people like Peter. When the war began, Stephen, whose daughters are keen horse riders, reached out to the equestrian community with an idea to fill horse boxes with aid and take them to the border. Quickly, this gathered momentum, and soon a convoy set off.
We went out the first time with 8 trucks. What we saw at the centres stays with you. When you see 1,500 mothers and children all with nowhere to go, nothing to do, bewildered, no future, it stays with you.
This trip is the third since the war began and saw the team travel over 2,217 miles, delivering 5 lorries of aid and spend an extra $30,000 on food and essentials for refugee centres whilst there.
The Giving to Ukraine team have made it to their first stop in Poland, where they're currently delivering medical aid to ERMED, who are the Polish equivalent of the British Red Cross.
ERMED then deliver this medical aid across the border, sending in paramedics and doctors to help those injured. On the final stop of the trip, the team visited Poznan. Here they don't only provide emergency aid, but continue to work to support those now living in the area. Anna arrived here in April and now works as a volunteer in the centre, supporting other mothers and children who, like her, had to escape the war.
Ми якось не вірили, що буде так страшно, і вирішили залишитися, і чекали, поки переводити чекали, може закінчиться, і так воно все гірше і гірше було, почали бомби кидати з самольота. Так, аж стіни тряслися. Ми в коридорі між двома стінами. А деколи, коли треба було за водою йти або за їжею, дитину в підвалі залишали. Ми її писали номер телефону.
With the recent increase in bombings across Ukraine and cold weather setting in, those in Poland are preparing for many more refugees to cross the border in need of assistance.
Remarkable stuff, starting with children and finishing with children. And the author of that report, I'm delighted to say, Lauren Barkley, indeed joins me live now. Thanks for accepting the commission and thanks for doing it. And it was lovely to see Stephen Barnes there again, who has also been on the programme. For me, the headline from that report was that the danger remains. It's very easy for us in the UK to talk to senior politicians in Ukraine, various negotiators and diplomats. I had one on the programme just yesterday. But for those ordinary people that you're dealing with, particularly the woman at the end saying, the danger is very real and it's still going on now, whatever you see in the newspapers. Does that shock, surprise or upset you?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's definitely noticeable talking to them there is that it isn't over. And I think we've lost a lot of media that was surrounding the war because it's going on, and there's other news stories, but it's definitely not over for the people there. And even whilst we were visiting the orphanage, Peter, who ran it, got the news that 30 more children were going to be joining that day because of the bombings that happened last week. The mother that was there, although she was volunteering in the centre, she didn't know where her husband was. Her daughter was now safe with her there, but for her home had been destroyed and she didn't know what the future looked like. And for her, it was simply the centre was what was keeping her going and giving her hope, and being able to speak to other mothers in that situation really helped her.
The other thing that I mean, metaphorically, but almost literally made us fall off our chairs when you and Nikki were on last weekend was when I, as invoiced you, so what are you taking out this time? Expecting you to say food and plasters and clothes. And I think it was Nikki who said we're taking baby toys and body bags. And that's what literally made our jaws drop. I mean, this is a life and death effort, is it not?
Oh, it definitely is. And I think one of the main partners that we work with is ERMED, who take medical supplies to Ukraine. And it has been shocking that they are requesting more and more body bags. And it just hits home and tells you exactly what's going on out there. I think for some of them as well, if we didn't take that medical aid, it would be even more life or death for the people out there. And it just shows the continuing need. I think last time we went, we filled ERMED's warehouse completely with medical aid, but only 4 months later, that's completely empty. And we've gone and filled it again today, last week. But I think the team want to try and go every 3 months. They're hoping to go again at Christmas. And I think what really worries these centres and the people providing the aid is as the weather gets colder and the war continues, they are thinking that more and more refugees are going to be crossing the border in need of aid. And they're worried that with all the media dropping out and people running out of time to volunteer. We've met volunteers in Poland that had completely given up their jobs for months, but have now had to go back and work because they simply can't continue to do that. Yeah. It's getting to the point that we need to keep the momentum going and keep the donations coming in so that we can continue to support what is still a terrible situation.
And captured and described brilliantly by you. Get in touch with us before you go for that trip around about Christmas time, and we'll talk again because we are interested in Ukraine, but we particularly want to reflect here on GB News the best of Brits doing their bit for people out there, and few better examples than you, Lauren Barclay. Thank you very much indeed, and you keep in touch with us.
Thank you very much again.
Good to see you.
You too.
Lauren Barclay there. Cheers.